The grey wolf, last of his kind, walked through the ashen woods. His pack had long since died out. The woods, now a grave for all manner of beasts, have turned into ash for far longer. The grey skies of the day were unending. The blackness of the night was oppressive. Nevertheless, the wolf kept at a steady pace and aimed to find a worthy foe. Honor mattered greatly. In his mind, a warrior's death would allow him to run with his pack once more in the eternal dream. There, the woods remain a verdant green. Crystalline waters run beneath and through the earth, and the prey overly abundant. As he roamed, a lone raven watched from afar. Her eyes would blink and her head would turn with every step he took. She would fly from one blackened tree to another, always keeping cover and always from a safe distance. The wolf knew about this, of course. His senses remained sharp despite his old age, despite the long, sleepless nights. He knew what a carrion bird was, and considered their kind to be cowardly. Unafraid, he kept walking, and the days went on as such. Ever vigilant, the grey wolf would search for his final battle, and the raven would follow him from afar. Whenever he stopped to gather his bearings, she would perch and try to appear uninterested. But whenever he walked, she would hover in the air to follow. Wherever he ran, she would have ridden the winds behind him. As a result, the raven would get a lot more acquainted with the wolf's movements. She would at times fly much closer, or, albeit rarely, she would appear just inside the corner of his vision. The wolf, whether he cared to admit it or not, came to mind the raven less and less. There came a point when, as the wolf crested a barren knoll, the raven finally braved to approach and landed a short distance away from him.
I am. Oh, goodness, sorry. I haven't spoken for quite some time. Oh, yes, I'm a raven. And what about you?
Well, obviously, I'm a fox.
Yes, you're. What? No, you're not. Oh. Oh, you're being sarcastic. Right, of course. Naturally. Oh, goodness, this is awkward. This is awkward, isn't it?
Hmm.
Right, my friends, Godbird rest their souls, always got at me for being dense. And like, am I really dense? And chatty. Am I chatty?
From then onwards, the two of them traveled somewhat together. The raven's incessant words went on as she would hop and skip. Sometimes, she would even sing a tune as she hovered above. The wolf, well, he was silent for the most part. Then one rare evening, the clouds parted to bathe the woods with silver moonlight. The wolf, tired as he was, accepted it as a sign to earnestly rest for the night. He had found a hollowed out stump of what used to be a giant oak. Moreover, he has not heard the raven nor glimpsed at her dark silhouette for some time. It was, simply put, a good opportunity to regain his strength. Perhaps she has fallen behind, or had finally lost interest. Good. No more nuisance. His own words surprised him. He quickly realized that it sounded harsh and positively untrue. A part of him got used to having company again, after all. He then sat down, curled up, and closed his eyes, solemnly driving away the other part of him that embraced misery. Lastly, he kept within him a rare hope that the blackbird would be there the moment he woke. And so he slept. From the darkness, he saw glimpses of the eternal dream. It mirrored the waking world when it was young. The lush greenery of the endless woods stretched over the horizon. Golden sunlight pierced through the trees, blanketing the wolf with a long-forgotten warmth. He felt the damp earth beneath his paws. He savored the smell of dew-laden grass brushing against his gray fur. The dream was more, and then some. He stopped by the banks of the river Serpent and recognized its crisp, cold waters from his days as a pup. He walked closer to drink, but then he saw something move beyond the river. His eyes widened. Fellow wolves. My old pack, no less. Brothers, sisters, I am here.
Brother, turn back. You still dream from the ashen woods.
I know, but if you take me now, if the serpent shall abide, then...
No, the serpent will only swallow you.
I must try. This shall be my final battle. My honor.
You're mistaken. There is no honor in this. Wake up, brother.
But there's no one else to fight. How else should I... I'm about to die. Python, you craven. Craven? No. This is simply my nature. But you... You've become senile, dog. Raven. Ah! Why you? The python's hold collapsed, allowing the wolf to wriggle out of it. His paws met the ground. He resisted the pain that shot up from his limbs and scrambled to get up. Afterwards, he mustered all his strength to run outside of the stump and face his enemy. Her beak caught its eye.
Ah! Disgusting! Ah, Wolfie! Don't worry, my grumpy friend. We'll finish this.
The black bird deftly evaded the serpent's retaliation and flew upwards. The latter shook the blood of its face and coiled its slender body. The wolf tensed at what he saw. A cold light glinted from the python's remaining eye. It flicked its tongue out and held a nasty, piercing gaze at the raven. Wait! Don't! The wolf lunged, faster than he's ever been. The raven dove like a falling arrow, with her beak honed on its mark. The python pulled its head back, its evil eye unblinking. The raven flailed as she tumbled into the ground. She gasped. Her whole body seemed on fire, but one thing slowly stood out: the searing pain on her left wing.
Oh, oh no! No! No, no! Wolf! Where are you?
The raven stood up with difficulty, attempting not to move her broken wing. She hopped and cocked her head around in a daze. She blinked several times to clear her vision until finally, the wolf came into view.
Oh my! Oh dear God, bird, what fearsome eyes you have!
Although injured, seeing the raven alive filled him with an overwhelming joy. He was relieved to have made it in time to catch the serpent's body and save her from being completely swallowed. Quickly, however, he channeled all the righteous anger he held inside. All that pain, all that suffering, being alone, all that time seeking an honorable death. I shall chase it no longer.
Heavens above! Oh, I think I'm gonna puke. Oh dear. Oh goodness.
Sometime later, the gray wolf continued to wander the ashen woods. His pack may have long since died out, but he no longer walked alone. And the raven, well, she no longer watched from afar.
You know, Wolfie, the other ravens and crows alike, bird haven't kept them, thought I was weird for not picking on the dead. But think about it. Those were speaking, thinking, feeling animals once.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I was like, I'd rather keep on eating worms. A lot of worms are still around, you know, and as far as I can tell, they can speak. Or can they?
They don't. But that python, it was just like a big worm, wasn't it?
Oh, whatever it was, that snake was just talking right before you. You. Oh. Ah! Oh dear, not again.
Hey, no. No vomiting there. Hey! Alas, the days marched on ever forward. The gray skies of the day were still unending, but it seemed much brighter now. The blackness of the night was not as oppressive, and somehow it shimmered with a different hue. The wolf finally saw that there was still more to gain in living the remainder of his life. Honor shall follow. The next world awaited, yes, and even though it loomed beyond their lives, over the knolls of the once emerald glades, over the tree lines of the once lush forest, the wolf and the raven, both of them together, shall reach the shores of the eternal dream, but only much, much later.